Give it 3, 2, 1. Welcome everybody. Thanks for tuning in to this week's Lunch and Learn series. This week you've got me, Brandon Bell, the Director of Marketing here for Peninsula Wellness. This week I'm going over some natural ways to release some endogenous endocannabinoids and kind of kickstart your system. I did something like this last month where I kind of briefly went over some things, so I'm kind of going over a little bit of that again. But hopefully I'm going to try to piece together a little bit more of a complete puzzle and story for this and kind of give you like a personal story of what I've used and then what I've used to basically understand that, again, we have this natural system in our bodies. Obviously, we're big advocates for cannabis over here, but it's it's our duty on wellness to give you guys natural, holistic wellness tools to be able to, again, give you the best quality of life possible. So with that being said, again, I'm going to quickly jump into this. The whole point of these Lunch and Learns is to be able to you guys sit down, whether it's on your lunch or a small break, to be able to have us to be able to speak to you, give you a few minutes of information, some education, and just kind of have a chance to talk to you guys each week. So keep that in mind. We do this every single week, 12 o'clock, roughly right on the dot. They last 10 to 15 minutes or so, sometimes a little bit over, but they're on specific topics, oftentimes for new users, oftentimes for current users. At the same time, this is for the conversation like this is for anybody who's interested in just understanding, again, a little bit more about the endocannabinoid system and how it works. I'm not going to get too much into that. We've done Lunch and Learns on that in the past, so if you need to understand a little bit more of that, we'll probably link to that later on in the video after we do an export of this. But basically, that your endocannabinoid system is a system that you have in your body, has more receptor sites than any other system within it, contains the multiple receptor sites that which it contain have those different compounds which will attach to it, which cause all the sensations and the qualities of cannabis. And keep that in mind. The cannabis plant just so happens to offer the same, complex tools, at least puzzle pieces, if you will, keys that fit in the receptor sites that we have. We have those inherently, natively anyway, and which means we obviously we're evolved to have those, which means there's something supposed to attach to those. So we're pretty much predispositioned. We have this receptor site anyway, and we have a natural means to release it, to release all these compounds. I'm not sure how old you are if you're viewing, but if you've been around a young child lately, you see that they have this life, like this very obviously youthful energy. They're very light on their feet. They're very charismatic. They're funny. They're very lighthearted, caring. They often get over scrapes and bruises very easily. Long story short, these children have a very active endocannabinoid system, especially at a young age. This is stuff that's passed down through breast milk, things like that, but just staying active. And as you'll see, I'll go over a few different things. Basically allow your body to continue into that basic position where you're causing this release of these endogenous endocannabinoids, decreasing the inflammation throughout your entire body, relieving yourself of anxiety, and ultimately hopefully improving your mood and then some. So that being said, let's get right into it. First thing I got for everybody is, I think, is the most important, but it's really your mindset and attitude. Before I go over anything else other than this, I think I went over mindset last time at the very end. I think at the end of the day, without the proper mindset, these other steps are hard to get through. So the best thing to think about when you're trying to reduce stress, because again, that's the main focus and topic of this conversation, is to how to release these endogenous endocannabinoids to help mitigate and release some stress. So the point of that is your mindset is everything. You have to obviously want to feel better. You have to have the desire and the knowingness that you can get better and that you can relieve yourself, and that, again, you are equipped with these natural tools to be able to do so. It just might take a little bit of mindset and a little bit of physical, I should say a lot of mindset, and or it could be a lot of mindset and a lot of physicality to be able to actually transition and get to that point. But again, your mindset is everything. You need to believe it in order to achieve it. So just keep that in mind. The very next thing, if that's hard to do, guess what? Movement. Sounds cliche, but guess what? Moving causes your body to produce large amounts you're going to be pumping blood and oxygen throughout your system. It's going to, by default, because of that, you're going to end up having more activity in your brain. Your body's made of all sorts of components. You do have electrical charges in there. The oxygen which goes to your brain has a direct result to how much, essentially, voltage, if you will, is going up there. So how awake you are, how alert you are. If you have a bad mindset, if you're not in the best mood, guess what? Getting up and moving can actually will cause that endogenous release of endocannabinoids and allow you to actually feel better. There's different forms of movement, which, just naturally moving like this, it's obviously better than nothing, but really doing any sort of stress-based movement or any resistance-based movement, for example, running. As you know, I know plenty of you guys have heard of the runner's high, for example. There's literally the name of that for the sole reason that it produces. That is one of the clear indicators that our bodies are equipped with these components, because the sensation that you get from the runner's high is very similar to the sensation you can get from utilizing cannabis in general. So for those of you who experience that, you can easily tell. For those who've maybe just experienced runner's high, not cannabis, if you recall the effects of that, you again feel very light on your feet. You're calm. You almost have zero anxiety. Your positive attitude, means basically your situation in life has stayed the same, but your attitude about it and your perspective is dramatically shifted. So again, these movements, whether it's utilizing yoga, utilizing just running, again, resistance stuff, push-ups, pull-ups, things like that. Those you want to move your body to the point where again you're creating larger amounts of oxygen and blood being basically flowing through your system. Light movement does do great wonders. Of course, it's going to do something better than nothing. So the point is just to get movement going. At the end of the day, though, if we can get the stronger movement, the faster movement, the movement that gets the heart rate up, that's what's really going to kickstart that system. And again, if your mindset's not there, force yourself. Tell yourself you can do it. You can basically get your butt up. You can work towards something for 5 to 10 minutes, get your heart rate up, and I promise you, the odds of you feeling negative or worse afterwards versus before is almost going to be non-existent. And there's a reason for that. Again, you can thank your body for producing these amazing chemicals. It's not just your endocannabinoids. It's not just your body has serotonin, dopamine. All these things are very critical to maintaining, again, just a positive mental attitude. Plus, the dopamine is important for motivation. If you wonder why some people are more motivated than others, they have a larger influx or larger possibly they're producing more dopamine than others. And it's important to not utilize substances, cannabis in general, coffee, other things like that to cause the dopamine release that your body wants to produce anyway. So it's never good to use something as a substitute. These are all complements of each other. And again, that's why Peninsula Wellness is here. It's because it's a free tool. Again, utilizing running and things like that to understand that these things have a direct impact on your cannabis use in general. You can get more out of your medicine. You can get more you can stretch things farther. And at the end of the day, running and exercising is completely free. Keep that in mind. And that if you want to feel better and heal, moving is everything. Next up, we're nothing without breathing. We're nothing without breathing. I'll say it again, we're nothing without breathing. While you're moving, while you're doing anything, while you're speaking, while you're thinking, your breath is essentially the most critical thing to sustain your life. You can't do anything. You can't go on without breathing, as you all know, as a few other things within your body. Can't go without water. But at the end of the day, we can't go without breathing. A lot of us aren't even aware of how we breathe. The average, I believe, I don't know if it's a person or American, but a lot of us will do what's called shallow breathing or chest breathing, which means not chest breathing, nose breathing, which means we're not doing full breaths as we sit, I say as we sit because as you sit, you normally have a slump. Because you have that slump, you have you have the more restricted airflow, therefore you're not going to be breathing as deep. Just by sitting up straight and then sitting there, thinking how your breath is actually going in, feeling it actually going in, actually causing your chest to increase, causing your shoulders to drop, causing your opening and within your chest in general, your upper body, straightening your back. Just doing that sort of breath is very important throughout the day, just to understand how it is you're breathing. Again, it's just oxygen related. The more oxygen you can get to flow to your brain, the more blood you can get to go up there. Again, the system basically it's like a natural purifier. So breath is a lot. When you're moving, when you're running, when you're doing things like that, the type of breath you will utilize will be different. It's awesome if you guys ever check out any of the SBY MMA stuff we do. We have another one coming up on Friday. Brandon Hudson, in those videos, will explain the type of breath work that he does during his exercises. And you'll notice that he does different exercises, and you'll see and hear him breathe differently based on those exercises. The point of that is to not get winded and to, again, ensure that your body's getting the proper oxygen that it needs to the brain in order to perform the duty that it's trying to do. So there's plenty of cases of working out. I'm sure there's a possibility that you have experienced this yourself. I know I have. Working out, running, doing something like that, skateboarding for my example, and not breathing properly, and by the time I'm done, I'm almost exhausted to the point where it's hard to believe. And at the end of the workout, if we're utilizing our breath, if we're understanding how we're breathing, and we're really focusing, that's what's really cool about yoga, because yoga helps you understand that as you move through certain ways, you want to breathe in and out, depending on the movements. And utilizing yoga and doing that often get your muscle memory really set in place with your muscle and breath. So I've seen those things in my personal life transpose over to skateboarding and things like that, playing with my children and things, because again, I understand that as I'm bending, I need to do this. As I'm running, I need to do this. As I'm sitting still, I need to breathe a certain way here. And again, these are all simple things that, that literally can cause you to wake up in the morning in a much greater mood. Because again, as you're getting oxygen, as you're getting more blood flow, I will keep repeating that and beating it like a dead horse, but as you're maintaining and as you're getting those things in your system operating better, you have no choice but to feel better because your body is operating at a more efficient level. So again, we've got your mindset, we've got your movement, we've got breathing. This next one is going to possibly completely throw you off, but hopefully somebody feels me here, but I had to throw this in. Music. Think about it. Let's look at the cliche idea of a child having music being played in front of them and how they have no choice almost but to move or bop their head or to swing their hands or to do something. It's inherent in us that we have this innate many of us have this innate, calling to listen to music, to want to hear it, and it causes many of us different sensations as we listen to it. So what I'm bringing this up is to say most music at this point, as I'm sure if you have a smartphone and things like that, streaming for the most part is free. It's really important to think about the type of music you're listening to, because the type of music you're listening to can have a direct effect on how you're breathing, your mindset before, during, and after, and honestly which could affect how you feel and how you feel like moving afterwards. At the end of the day, have you ever listened, you think about a good song you listened to, how it increased your mood just from hearing it? The sounds alone, the vibrations of the sounds have the ability to produce, again, things like serotonin, dopamine, release natural endocannabinoids and things like that to, again, cause the decrease of inflammation, the anxiety relief and things like that. I know me personally, if I'm on a long drive or if I'm driving from A to B, I often would rather hear a particular song of mine than to listen to, let's say, a podcast or something else that might be oriented towards money or the economy or anything like that, and then all of a sudden essentially listen to a song that might be more so about, basically believing in yourself and things like that. So I have the tone, the tempo, the beat of the drum, the melody of maybe the guitar, the piano, and then I have possibly the vocalist or singer actually producing the sounds and the words that I'm taking in. But after that song, again, I know a lot of people, we all love music, so we listen to music for a mood boost, we listen to music to feel a certain way, to put us in a mindset. Think about if you run, you probably listen to music often if you run. If not, more, if you exercise, things like that, you see people do it all the time. That's not for no reason. It literally gives us the motivation to move. So what I'm bringing in now is that might not be anything new to you, but to focus and pay attention to the music you're listening to. Not just the words, but the tempo, the sound. Are you looking to be more, if you're looking for stress relief, the higher tempo, dun, 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 this type of stuff can cause anxiety relief. I know, again, I have a 15-month-old at home. There's only a certain time of days I'm going to play rock music and things like that. And because I know that if it's late in the evening, he needs a slower tempo type of song, because that will ease him and cause him to calm. I think as we get older, we stop paying attention to these subtleties and how they have an effect on our physiology, but the music has a complete effect on how you feel. I know, I'm not going to get super into it, but if I hear a particular song that I really think is distasteful, it does affect my mood. I don't think it controls my day, but it definitely does kind of reverberate, and I sense it and I feel it and I kind of feel where it's coming from, and it either is going to lift me up or bring me down. And again, I want you to think about the music you're listening to. This is one of the most simple things you can do. When you wake up in the morning, you could put on you could either have you could wake up, put on one of your favorite songs that put you in a good mood. You can sit there, get your mindset right, and just basically sit there and think of all the things that you're grateful for. Even if it's just a few, there's got to be stuff in front of your eyes that you can be grateful for. If you can't think of anything directly, then I really suggest you sit there and dwell on that until you can come up with some answers. But wake up, music, get your mindset right, go ahead and start moving, whether it's yoga, whether it's going on a run, whether it's just literally just waking up and giving yourself a nice stretch, things like that. You want to do that, and at the same time focus on how deep you're breathing, how you're breathing out. And honestly, within looking at some of the exercises and stuff that we've done within our community room, or just looking going online in general, just find quick, easy workouts. Just do stuff, or just listen to your body. If you wake up and you feel like you need to move a certain way, if you have the space in your house, if you don't, find the room to be able to literally stretch on the floor and just to be able to move around in any position you see fit. Again, I suggest everybody check out some of the yoga classes that we host here. Most of the time they're through Jerry Miller at JM Studios. Thanks, Jerry, for always doing that. We have something else coming out next month. But you can look at her, you can look at Brandon's stuff for SBY, take small segments of each of the thing, do a 1-minute workout that Brandon shows you, do an asana that maybe Jerry showed you that might be a minute long, interchange them, breathe in between. I promise you, after that, when you start feeling better, that's your endocannabinoid system basically getting like a nice little kickstart jump. And now guess what, because of that, you're producing a lot more of those feel-good chemicals. You've got more again, more oxygenation, more blood flow, which means inflammation decreasing, which means, guess what? Pain decrease, anxiety relief, overall mood improvement. Again, if you look at the root of all disease, essentially it's all very inflammatory. Almost everything relates to inflammation. So it's not that cannabis or any of these things are remotely a cure-all, but they do really they do address at some of the main components and the issues that basically bring about, again, dis-ease. So this whole point, again, was to not sell anybody on anything cannabis related. This was completely on endocannabinoid system, your endocannabinoid system, your natural one that you have inherently born with. And these are just simple ways that you can essentially kind of boost that, kickstart that, and to kind of pay attention again to I'm out of cannabis today. What am I supposed to do? What was me? I deal with the marketing here. I've seen emails, I've seen people speak to me and say, like, without my medicine, I'm essentially screwed. In some people's case, that is very true. In many people's case, that is not even remotely true. That's where the mindset really kicks in. So that's a really big point of this Lunch and Learn, is just to show people, again, that you have this system. You have it, and you're meant to use it. If you get old, I don't know what age you are, but as you get older, you tend to slow down, you tend to work more, you tend to sit more, you tend to just be more relaxed. Maybe not relaxed, I should take that back. Maybe you're less mobile, maybe. And because of that, you're going to have all the issues. The breathing's going to slow, the movement's going to slow, the mindset's going to get a little shallow again because there's not enough movement. But all this stuff so it plays hand in hand. If you're not moving, you're not breathing, your mindset's crappy, and you're just utilizing cannabis to get through the day to boost you, I promise you that is a lose-lose scenario. And I'll be the first one to tell you that wearing a cannabis leaf on my hat. Everything matters. Your health matters. The water you intake matters. The friends you hang around matters. All this stuff matters. Okay, so that's my little spiel. I really appreciate everybody. I hope you guys got a chance to watch this. This was one of the ones that I wanted to personally do because it hits home with me. I've had to actively work towards natural things throughout the decade of my life to be able to, keep my attitude a certain way, to be able to get through the day. And I completely know and trust that I've gone without cannabis for a decent amount of time, and I've seen how I can operate without it. And utilizing things just like this keeps me in touch with that natural system and those natural compounds that I know my body craves and desires, as many, if not all, do. Guys, I'm Brandon. Thank you so much. I guess the last thing I should say is, how can we help you out? Of course, as always, you can reach out to us either at patientservices@peninsulamd.com. You can call us throughout the weekday now. You can send us an email at contact@peninsulamd.com. You can reach out to me personally at bell@peninsulamd.com. At the end of the day, we're trying to do as many pop-up events as we can. If you host any organizations, or if you're part of any organizations, or when you host speakers or anything like that, we would love to be able to come out and possibly engage with your audience. But there's a few other things, we'd love to be able to do as well, which is host organizations themselves and come into our location to be able to speak. We can do virtual stuff. If you're just a single person looking for some more information, you can always give us a call again. You can just reach out to us. We can be reached on our social media. Again, it's not the easiest way, but we have so many touch points. If you really want to reach out, you can get in touch with us. And as always, every single Wednesday, we touch base with you guys here. This gives us a chance to, again, communicate, hopefully, and at the same time, give you guys a little bit of general knowledge that you can just take quick, dissect, and kind of keep on moving. But again, I digress. Thank you guys so much. I'm appreciative of what I get to do every day. I'm very grateful for this. I hope you all enjoy the rest of your day. I'll see you all next Wednesday. Take care.